Yo, what's going on everyone? It's me, it's Jinsula. I hope you're having a good day and welcome to today's Pokemon Go discussion video. Alright, so every couple of months I do a video where I give the state of Pokemon Go. I kind of go over some of the things that have been going really well with Pokemon Go, as well as talking about all of the negatives that have been compounding to making a lot of people within the Pokemon Go community feel very upset and very disappointed towards Niantic. And today is going to be exactly that. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the positives that have been happening lately in Pokemon Go, as well as some of the negatives and what Niantic could do moving forward. So let's start talking about the positives. When it comes to Pokemon Go, there is something going on right now which I personally feel like has been a huge positive towards Pokemon Go, and that is of course Pokemon Go Fest. This year, it seems like Niantic knocked it out of the park. I attended Pokemon Go Fest in New York City, and I already talked about why I thought it was a really good event. But just to reiterate, I really felt like Niantic did a lot of really good things that they did last year, and they continued it onward this year. That was a really good move on Niantic's part, because why fix what isn't broken? I thought Pokemon Go Fest last year was really good, and this year they did much of the same stuff, which I think was a really good decision. And then on top of that, we have Pokemon Go Fest Global, which is going to be this weekend, and I'm actually really excited about it. I think there's a lot of things to look forward to. And they're also including something which I think a lot of players are going to be behind, which is, of course, the fusions for Necrozma. That's definitely going to draw a lot of hype and a lot of excitement within the Pokemon Go community, and I do think it's going to have some really strong gameplay implications. A lot of people that I know within my own local communities are really excited about this weekend, specifically because of the release of these fusions globally. So yeah, give credit where credit is due. I think Pokemon Go Fest this year was a huge success. And another positive that I wanted to bring up is, of course, Biomes. I think Niantic did a really good job with them. I think they influenced the game in a different way that a lot of players may not be used to. And I also like the fact that they do encourage you to go out and explore in a positive way. I think one of the problems that a lot of players have with Niantic is that they have such a strong mission focus towards exploration-based gameplay that they take away a lot of things that players really enjoy, namely remote raid passes. And I think because of that, a lot of players were really distraught at the idea of Niantic doing anything for exploration-based play, that when they released Biomes, it was kind of a big surprise. I really do enjoy Biomes, and if they want to get us out and about and exploring, then I feel like something like Biomes is the way to do it. Rather than taking things away from the Pokemon Go community, what they need to do is add things to the Pokemon Go experience that will encourage people to play the game the way that you want them to play. And that's something I have voiced to Michael Staranka personally. Like, we've had one-on-one conversations, and I've told them exactly that. Rather than nerfing remote raids, I felt like the best course of action would have been to add more gameplay features that would actually encourage players and reward players for going out and playing. One of the things that they did really well in this regard is, of course, the daily adventure incense. Those are some of the things that I wish Niantic would move towards, and I really hope they do, because there is a lot of potential there for Niantic to do some really cool things. I mean, one thing I would like for them to do is to revamp party play, because party play is something where I feel like there is a lot of missed opportunities and a lot of missed potential. It's something that I personally do not do often, but every occasion when I actually do some party play, I actually have a lot of fun. But it really does involve a lot of things that a lot of players who play Pokemon Go just do not want to be involved with. And I think Niantic could do a lot of things with party play that would actually encourage players to go out and explore, but also play with a community. It's just kind of in a bare bones state right now. So I really do hope Niantic is thinking about different ways to get more players to do party play, and I think the best way they could do that is by adding a bunch of features that are actually going to be worthwhile. So yeah, in a sense, I do actually like the direction that Pokemon Go is going. I think that there's a lot of good things that we can celebrate as Pokemon Go players. But at the same time, I still think Pokemon Go is not in a good state, especially compared to last year. I think there's a lot of room for growth and a lot of room for Niantic to make some strong improvements to Pokemon Go. Let's talk about that now. So, first and foremost, I brought up Biomes, but of course, I also feel like with the most recent updates to the visuals of Pokemon Go, They of course had that huge misstep with the avatar customization system, and we really haven't seen anything regarding that. Like, they haven't made any movements towards fixing a lot of the issues that players have had. And it seems like with every single avatar item that they introduced into Pokemon Go, it's just another bug for them to fix. So one thing I would like to see them do is to dedicate a lot of their resources to what's currently a problem in Pokemon Go. The avatar customization system is definitely one of those problems. Niantic should definitely consider revamping the system, or at least retracting it back to the old system while they come up with something different. That would be the way that I would go about it, but of course I'm not one of the higher ups at Niantic, so unfortunately I don't think this is the way that they're going to go. But we'll just have to wait and see what they decide to do. Now, another negative that I have with Pokemon Go right now is, of course, the content itself. Outside of Pokemon Go Fest, there hasn't been a lot of stuff for us to be really excited about when it comes to Pokemon Go. For the past couple of months, we've had a couple of lackluster events, as well as some community days that were kind of forgettable, and I really think this is where Niantic needs to focus on when it comes to the upcoming content in Pokemon Go. They need to give us stuff that is actually going to be exciting. We shouldn't have just Pokemon Go Fest to be excited about. We should also have some in-game events with some really cool Pokemon, and then have a bunch of legendaries that get introduced in the next couple of months. I think what they need to do is build upon the momentum that Pokemon Go Fest is currently bringing them, and if they don't do that, then a lot of players are going to fall off, because that has certainly happened in the past. Niantic would have a really hype event like Pokemon Go Fest or Go Tour, and then subsequently after, they would lose a lot of players because they just kind of take a break when it comes to content in Pokemon Go, and that is something that I really hope they do not do. I mean, we're probably not going to see them until a future update, but fusions are definitely something that are going to drive a lot of players to be really excited. But there is still one fusion that still hasn't been introduced into Pokemon Go, and a lot of players would be really hyped about it. And that is, of course, both Black Kyurem and White Kyurem. I think a lot of players would love to see them get introduced into Pokemon Go. But like I said, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, considering the amount of hype that Necrozma generated. They're probably going to save those fusions for a future event. Maybe for a Go Tour event. I think that would probably make the most sense. Now, we did get a teaser for Dynamax Pokemon coming to Pokemon Go, and that is of course with the anniversary image. And I am excited about that, but I'm really curious to see how Niantic is going to implement it. If they do something really cool with Dynamax Pokemon, then a lot of players will be behind it. That was kind of how it was with Mega Evolutions. When it was initially dropped, a lot of players were really excited about it, but of course, over time, there were a lot of issues with Mega Evolutions that did kind of surface up. So what ended up happening was that Niantic was almost forced to revamp the entire Mega Evolution system. Even though it was in a pretty good state when it launched, it just wasn't in a perfect state, and Niantic had to change it in order to be something that is actually usable and actually worthwhile. And I really hope they avoid that this time around with Dynamax Pokemon. Rather than having a system that is kind of bare bones and kind of in a beta state upon release, I hope they come up with something that's really polished, that's going to be really fun, and also very rewarding for every player who engages with it. And if they do that, then there won't be a need for a revamp, and that really should be the goal. But in any case, these are just some of my thoughts regarding the current state of Pokemon Go, and I do plan to revisit this a couple of months from now. I'll make another State of Pokemon Go kind of video, and hopefully we'll start seeing some positive changes, at least by then. I do think the game has made some improvements since the last time I made a State of Pokemon Go video, and I do think that Niantic is on the right direction. Like, they're going the right way, at the very least. They're making the right improvements in different areas, and at the very least, some of the problems are starting to get mitigated. We, of course, still have the nerf to remote raids, but I think as long as we're continuously communicating to Niantic how much we do not like what they did there, I think eventually we will get some changes. But that's highly doubtful at this point, because I mentioned this before, but it does seem like Niantic is in the mindset that they accomplished exactly what they wanted with the remote raid pass nerf. So yeah, it is what it is. Unfortunately, we may not ever get remote raids back to what they used to be, but at the very least, Niantic is making some progress at improving the game, and I think that's still something we should celebrate. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Now, let me know your thoughts regarding everything that I talked about down below. Is there a particular thing with the current state of Pokemon Go that you feel needs to be addressed? Or is there something with Pokemon Go that you actually are celebrating right now? Let me know what that is in the comments, and let's have a great discussion. And thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. If you ended up enjoying it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here. And also don't forget that notification bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. And real quick, let me give a shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Jinsula channel, the absolute best way you could do so is by becoming a member of my Patreon. If you become a paid Patreon member, you get a permanent spot on my in-game Pokemon Go friends list. So that means for stuff like remote raids or the friendship system, if you want to play Pokemon Go with me, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. And if you want to support my channel in a different way, you can do so by following me on social media. I'm on the following platforms that you see on screen. My handle is @Jinsula. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow. And that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself, and I'll catch you all later.